What is up, my fellow YouTube peeps? Hope you're doing very, very well. This is a bit of a weird scenario where I'm making, I guess technically it's 2 videos in 1 day for me, but if we look at time zones, it ends up being 2 videos in 2 days, which is not really all that weird for me. But anyway, and this one's about reverse culture shock, which is something that I'm experiencing currently, like literally as I'm making this video, because the second I left India, the second we landed in Frankfurt here, I immediately started to notice a whole bunch of differences that made me feel, in a lot of ways, not like an outsider, but definitely more like an outsider than I would have if I'd flown, for example, from Calgary. But coming from India, being there for so long, living with my family there, etc., coming to Frankfurt definitely felt some different things. Then I was going, this is interesting. So, for example, when we landed, the person comes on to the microphone system, the PA system, and says that we can take our bags from our hand luggage from the overhead compartments and we can stand up. And what was interesting is that normally if you go on an Indian flight, literally it's actually the opposite. People are telling people not to stand up because when wheels hit the ground, people start taking their seatbelts off and people are ready to get going and get their stuff first and get off the plane and go where they're going. And so often the flight attendants on Indian flights will be saying like, hey, you, sit back down, sit down, wait. Versus here, it's like everyone's waiting for the opposite. People here are waiting for the flight attendant to say, okay, now you can get your bags, now you can get ready to deboard the plane. And so it was very interesting because when the wheels hit the ground, my first thought was, great, I gotta get up now to get my stuff. But then I was like, wait, no one else is moving, it's very calm, people are kind of hanging out. And I was like, oh yeah, this is different. Interesting. And even when it was time to get up and get our bags, my initial instinct was, hey, let's get up really fast, let's get my bags. Because normally in India, everyone just kind of springs to their feet and it's kind of like this, it's like a really fast pace process to get your bags from the overhead compartments and get ready to get off the plane. I don't really know why, but that's really just how it is. And versus here, most of the people on the flight, they weren't Indian, most of the people. I'm not sure where they're from. America, Canada, like obviously, Frankfurt, etc. So it was not an Indian crowd, is my point. And so it was a very interesting thing. So we continue to get off the plane and I'm continuing to notice differences. So, for example, here it's quiet and quite orderly and quite calm. And it was actually a little bit off-putting, a little bit eerie for me, to be perfectly open. Because as I thought about it, living in India, I don't think, or rather being in India, I'm trying to remember, I don't know how many moments of just quiet and how many moments of just calm that you really get. Even at nighttime, the fan is on full blast so that the mosquitoes don't get you, so the mosquitoes don't bite you, right? And so, or it's like hot, so you're kind of tossing and turning a bit because maybe you can't fully get to sleep. And during the daytime, you're hearing the cars blaring, there's hustle and bustle, there's people walking around, there's things happening, things going on, there's always some kind of noise and some kind of like almost movement. You feel like there's always movement happening around you. Versus here, I was kind of walking and going, whoa, it feels really still. It feels really calm. It feels really quiet. Like I can almost, there's points where I was like, whoa, I hear literally nothing. I hear dead air. Which again, if I was coming from Calgary, it would not be very weird because in Calgary, that's quite the norm. Versus in India, that's not really the norm at all. And so it's just interesting, right? I've literally been here for less than half an hour and already feeling a lot of the effects. Even things like, this is a small one as well, even things like just around me not hearing Gujarati and Hindi, even that is just different, right? Like that's not, I'm pretty neutral towards it, but it's just kind of weird to go, oh, I don't need to keep my brain in like Hindi, Gujarati mode all the time because now I'm not going to be using it. And it feels kind of like when you rip a Band-Aid off extremely fast. Like that's kind of what it feels like. It feels weird to go, literally less than 24 hours ago, brain is like Gujarati, Hindi, Gujarati, Hindi. Whoa, what's that guy saying? I don't know that word, etc. Or like, how am I going to say this? And then like minimal English mode, very, very little English mode. Versus now it's going, okay, Gujarati brain, Hindi brain, all that, turn off. And now you are into English, right? Or English, or primarily English, which is it's kind of a bitter, it's not really bittersweet, but it is something you go, man, I kind of want to go back. I want to go back to India. I miss the noise. I miss speaking of Gujarati, I miss a lot of that. So it's just it's an interesting thing that I don't know how often gets talked about, this concept of reverse culture shock, right? I mean, culture shock we talk about a lot, where you go to a country and you feel something, you notice the cultural differences. Well, I think reverse culture shock is not talked about all that much, and it's something that happens a lot. So anyway, I think we'll wrap this little video up here. I think it'd be cool to upload it now, because then it's like really like real time with my flights, because that first video that I just uploaded that you guys watched was real time with my flight. Like, I think it uploaded pretty quickly with the Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna try here. Maybe it'll upload quickly and you'll see it while I'm still sitting at this airport. So anyway, oh, by the way, last thing, I'm doing some really interesting stuff on Snapchat literally right now, like as I'm flying. Like it's like a vlog, but it's extremely different. Like, it's really in depth, and you're seeing so many different aspects of life that you don't see. Like, just it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. If you're not following my Snapchat, check it out. I think you'll like it. Also, last little plug, I put out a fire, like just an amazing, probably one of the best posts I've put out this year so far, on Facebook and Instagram. It's gotten by far some of the most response ever from this year anyway. So Facebook and Instagram, you'll see that post. It's just straight fire. You'll like it. It's like a little blog post, the most recent one, and then it's the one with like a black and white picture. I'm like looking to the left. Anyway, that's the one. And Snapchat for like this pretty interesting snap vloggy stuff. So anyway, see you guys. Bye.